When it comes to Christianity, one of the most controversial and debated topics is the existence of Satan.
According to Christian teachings, Satan is the ultimate adversary of God, and his sole mission is to lead people away from the righteous path.
But have you ever wondered, does Satan himself believe that God is just? The question might seem paradoxical at first, but it's worth exploring. After all, Satan is supposed to be the ultimate rebel, the one who refused to bow down to God and was cast out of heaven as a result. From a Christian perspective, Satan embodies everything that is wrong with the world: sin, temptation, and evil. But what does Satan himself believe about God's justice? To answer that question, we first have to understand Satan's motivations. According to the Bible, Satan rebelled against God because he wanted to be like God himself. He was filled with pride and wanted to be worshipped like God. As a result, he was cast out of heaven and condemned to an eternity of suffering. Now, when it comes to God's justice, Satan would likely have a conflicted view. On one hand, he would recognize that God is all-powerful and perfectly just. He would understand that his punishment was just and deserved. On the other hand, his pride and rebellion would likely prevent him from fully accepting God's justice. He might believe that he was unfairly punished or that he was right to rebel against God. Interestingly, some Christian theologians argue that Satan's rebellion was actually an act of love, albeit a misguided one.
They suggest that Satan rebelled because he loved humanity and wanted to give us the gift of free will. By tempting Adam and Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, Satan gave them the ability to choose between good and evil. This, in turn, gave us the opportunity to choose to follow God and earn eternal life.
Of course, this is just one interpretation of Satan's actions.
Many Christians believe that Satan is purely evil and that his rebellion was a selfish act of pride.
Regardless of what you believe, it's clear that Satan's views on God's justice are complex and multifaceted.
In conclusion, the question of whether Satan believes that God is just is a fascinating one. While we can only speculate about Satan's inner thoughts, it's clear that his rebellion against God was a pivotal moment in Christian theology. Whether you see Satan as a villain or a tragic hero, his story reminds us of the power of free will, the dangers of pride, and the importance of choosing the path of righteousness.